Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from Paris, France, is Med Marouane Ajraoui. Hi, Med Marouane. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Vasco. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
So, Med Marouane enjoys practicing AIKIDO. I have another Agile coach friend who also practices AIKIDO. That's interesting. While helping individuals, teams, and organizations embrace the Agile mindset. He's from Morocco, but he has lived in several countries and he enjoys being a citizen of the world, as he says. He's the founder of Agile Africa, an NGO for disseminating Agile culture in Africa. He's also the CEO and founder of a company whose name I envy. It's called JediSquad, an international firm that supports developing Eco Agile businesses and meaningful digital products. Med Marouane, that was just a quick intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
Thank you. Thank you, first of all, Vasco, for what you do for the community and to spread knowledge, about Scrum, about agility. I really appreciate your work. Marouane, it's my name, and Med Marouane. And I started as a software engineer. I started reading about agility around 2006. I had the chance to apply it in 2008 as a R&D developer, software developer, and it was fine. I did enjoy it. And then in 2012, once I received a call to join like a Star Agile team. I was working on that time for Airbus in several projects as technical lead, and I received this call that was inviting me to change the country, to go to another. I was living in Spain. It was inviting me to go to France, to the south, and actually I said, okay, I want to really experience this adventure. I will kick myself out from the comfort zone, and I went out to the adventure. So I put more or less my house in my car, and I moved. I moved to Spain. I arrived there, and then I started working with this Star Agile team. And what I was seeing on that time in 2012, it was really open work environment. Engineers, they were like doing extreme programming practices, coding kata. They were doing pair programming, test-driven development. They were using Scrum really in full potential. All the people, they were highly collaborative. You will arrive in the morning, you will get a coffee with all the team. Some of the team will bring a cake. People, they were really nice. Transparency was like really fostered on that environment. So I started working with them, and I enjoyed it so much. I enjoyed it so much because I could see another dimension of agility, the dimension that will impact the being, because I was being different on that environment. I was being more, I would say, really safe, sharing everything. You know how it is when you are like a software engineer. Sometimes you get problems. You don't know how to solve problems technically, and sometimes you just fight alone in the corner. But there, it was not happening. There, you could say, "Yeah, I'm struggling with this," and people they will come to help you, and then you will do the same for them. So it was like amazing. And again, another phone ring I did receive, and I did receive a phone ring to move to Paris. So, as usually I was doing on that time, it's another challenge. Okay, so after the first challenge, I was receiving another challenge, even a bigger organization in telecommunication in Paris, in the capital. So I said, okay, let's go there and see what's in there. When I went there, I found people working in a waterfall. I found
Wait, but did
people.
you get called to go to another agile team, but then you were surprised that they were in waterfall, or did the call come just as a generic challenge without any more qualification?
No, the call actually, I was a freelancing on that time as a software engineer. So I received the first call to work in Bordeaux, and then I worked with them. And after that, I received another call after a while, after a few months, to work in Paris in another company, completely another company. So I had this call. I went to Paris. I arrived to Paris. Well, I did the interviews. It was like really straightforward. And then I arrived to Paris and I started working in the big, huge company, telecom company. And then in this company, they were using Waterfall. My role there, it was like a solution architect. So I
Okay,
was
so you
moving
were in,
from,
yeah, you were hired for your technical skills, not for your agile skills.
yes, I was hired for my technical skills. I was R&D developer, and I was like offered a job as a solution architect, which is like, let's say, more proficient on technical
So,
career.
I want to direct this question to what might be the logical outcome. I don't know, but I want to check. We want to talk about a story where you, as a Scrum Master, you tried your best at that time. I mean, today's Monday. We talk about a failure, and your best just wasn't good enough. So I want us to go and explore that story from that perspective. So tell us that story, Med Marouane, and walk us through all of the steps you went through, and then later on we'll discuss the insights. But tell us that story and what was that failure.
Sure, sure. So first of all, I wanted just to make like a comparison between the two environments, the environment of the Star Agile team and the new environment that was discovered in Paris. That I arrived and I saw people that when there was like some problem happening in productions or in systems, I saw departments throwing the things to the other departments and blaming and not really constructive. And I was missing the face-to-face conversation, the dailies, the transparency. So is there where I really felt the need to bring agility to the world of work. So I was hired as a solution architect, but I started practicing solution architecture, facilitating technical workshop using my facilitation skills that I was learning and that I learned also in the past. And it's there when I started the path of changing, of like going to assuming more a Scrum Master role, or let's say facilitator role, a coach role, like an Agile coach role. So that's how I began. That's how I began in agility. Then I started traveling in several communities. I started traveling, visiting several communities, trying to learn, reading a lot about agility, and it was like really great. From that story to go to failure, I don't know the word failure, how I could use it, because for me, when you fail the first time in something, it's a learning, it's not a failure. Once you repeat the same, let's say, learning, and you don't learn from the from the first learning, then it becomes a failure because, well, you don't evolve and you don't develop the reflexes that make you and helps you to avoid like failures.
Yeah, I understand the point. However, I think we shouldn't be afraid of the word failure because, whether we call it learning or whether we call it failure, it can definitely affect one or two conversations. But at the end, when we sit down alone and we reflect on our career, we also have to be honest with ourselves, right? This is what
Definitely.
I was missing. And it's not necessarily because we were at fault. it's because we were not yet ready to learn that lesson, right? And of course, then hopefully we were able to acquire new tools. And that's why this podcast is called The Toolbox, right? So that we acquire more tools and more tools and more tools, because we never know what the future is going to throw at us. And we need to be ready. And we can only be ready if we find those tools, we collect them, we learn about them, and then, of course, we practice them.
Definitely.
But from that story, I think one of the things that I want to take kind of and highlight for our audience is this. I think you called it the agility of being, and I want to highlight that Agile is, for us as Scrum Masters, it's important to recognize this. Agile is fundamentally a different philosophy for developing products and developing software. It's not just a set of technical practices, which it is. It's not just a set of values, which it is. It's not just a set of principles, which it is. But it's a totally different way to look at software development. And I think that when you made the contrast between that star team in Spain and then the reality of waterfall in Paris in that big company, like I think that highlights that difference, right? In one side, you have an organization that tries to get the best out of people by making them happy and proud. And the other, you have an organization that tries to take the best out of people, but leave them empty and shallow and tired. And this is, I think, a totally different perspective that we as Scrum Masters also need to take ownership of.
Definitely. As they say, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And we could compare between the cultures. I've been now I worked for like more or less 30 organizations. And I could really compare between different cultures I've been seeing in each organization. And as you said, it's completely different. The people you have, how they are energized, and the value they are bringing, the products they are building are shaped in their mood. So if they are like really, let's say, well energized, really passionate about what they do, they do treasures. They do great products.
Absolutely. I think that's a brilliant way to end this episode. Products are shaped on the mood of the people that develop them. That's great. Thank you, Med Marouane.
Thank you very much.
Monday is about what we learn from our obstacles and our failures. But tomorrow is Team Tuesday here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. We explore teams and their journeys, the habits they develop that threaten their performance, how each of our guests helped their teams evolve, and the one key lesson they learned from that experience. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.